I've been a subscriber for Xbox Game Pass for quite a long time. Well, sometimes even there, I unsubscribe because there aren't a lot of games that I want to play, but most of the time there are many games that I want to play, and lately even more. So in this video, I'll try to answer some of the questions that many people are asking and some of the questions that I wanted to know, and I'm going to share it here in this video. So the first of the question, well, what's so special about it? What makes it different compared to other already existing gaming handheld devices out there, like Steam Deck, for example? Well, aside from this console having the Xbox name in its title. Right in front of you, by the way, you can see some of the specs comparison from Xbox.com. All right, so the differences, well, the ROG Xbox Li handles differentiate themselves from other handles and the Steam Deck primarily through their tight integration with the Xbox ecosystem and tailored design. They feature an optimized full screen, what Microsoft calls full screen Xbox experience, designed specifically for handheld use, which minimizes background Windows activity to dedicate more resources to gaming and provide seamless console-like feel with easy navigation via dedicated Xbox button. And another role is the Universal Game Library access, aggregating games from Xbox, Game Pass, Steam, Epic Games Store, Battle.net, and other PC storefronts into one place. Remember, this run Windows, we're going to talk about this in a moment. Again, all that with native support for downloading and playing Game Pass titles, offering a key advantage over the Steam Deck. Now, the hardware design incorporates Xbox control-inspired ergonomics with contour hand grips for enhanced comfort and impulse triggers on the ROG Xbox Ally X for detailed haptic feedback. Now, on top of that, particularly the ROG Xbox Ally X, this is the one that is the more powerful of the two. These devices offer enhanced hardware specifications, including generally greater raw performance from the AMD Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme processor, a high-resolution 1080p 120Hz display, larger battery, more RAM, and up to 24 GB on the X, which is the, again, more powerful of the two, and the use of standard M.2 2280 SSDs for easier storage upgrades. And as you can see here, a full Windows installation under the hood. Now, many people probably want to know, is the ROG Ally X, again, the more powerful version of the two, more powerful than the Steam Deck? Well, yep. It is significantly more powerful than the Steam Deck, primarily due to its advanced internal hardware. While the Steam Deck utilizes AMD APU with a 4-core Zen 2 CPU and a 8-core RDNA 2 GPU, the Xbox Ally X boasts a newer AMD AI Z2 Extreme APU featuring an 8-core Zen 5 CPU and 16-core RDNA 3.5 GPU, effectively doubling the core count and leveraging a more powerful newer architecture. This hardware leap suggests a considerably boosting performance, making the Xbox Ally X capable of running games at higher resolution and frame rates and offering broader game compatibility given its native Windows operating system. Alright, what about connectors? What connectors are there available on this device? Well, two USB ports. One is a USB 4 Type-C port that is Thunderbolt 4 compatible, supporting DisplayPort 2.1 and Power Delivery 3.0. The second is a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C port, also supporting DisplayPort 2.1 and Power Delivery 3.0. These USB-C ports can also support up to 100-watt charges. The setup replaces the original Ally X mobile port. Furthermore, one UHS 2 microSD card reader that supports SD, SDXC, and SDHC. It also supports UHS 1 cards in DDR200 mode. There's also one 3.5mm combo audio jack, Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.4, and an internal M.2 2280 SSD card slot. This is for storage expansion, supporting drives up to 8 TB of capacity. Now, we don't have the pricing just yet, it's not officially announced. However, some speculate that the LAX could range, for example, between around the 800 to even 1K US dollars. Now, some say that the lack of revealed pricing is partially attributed to uncertainty, possibly due to tariffs, which is driving up costs. Some hope that Microsoft might subsidize the price, but there are also some that just doubt that it's likely, as the device run Windows and support multiple storefronts, not just the Xbox ecosystem. So maybe for some it's going to be even a replacement for a laptop. So if you expected something more close to the Steam Deck prices, you're probably going to be disappointed, but need to wait and see. And of course, the thing is that if you just go, let's say Best Buy, I'm checking Best Buy right now, and you check the price for the ROG LAX, again, not the Xbox version, it costs $900 US dollars. And that one has an AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme processor, 24 gigabytes with 1 terabyte SSD, with 127-inch 120 Full HD screen. So you can understand where it's going, right? It's not going to be like cheaper. That's why people thought maybe Microsoft is going to subsidize it to reduce the price. Well, they're probably going to look at something at least close to this price. Well, I'm going to repeat it again because some people might want to know exactly, does it run Windows? Yes, it does. And it runs Windows 11 Home. As you can see here, this is from the Xbox.com website. So basically running Windows 11 gives these devices advantage in terms of game compatibility and versatility. It also means dealing with the overhead of a full desktop operating system. Now, Asus and Microsoft have implemented several strategies to mitigate this and optimize performance for gaming. So basically that Xbox full screen experience will prioritize games and reduce background Windows tasks. Probably going to be different modes that you can actually control, depends on how you prepare to use the device at any given time. So this should bring you really a great gaming experience, and if you decide to do other things other than gaming, you can actually benefit from this as well, running Windows 11 and other, of course, software and other storefronts. Basically like having two-in-one, and an end console that is optimized for gaming, but again, if you and postpone everything that can actually interfere with it. But if you want to do other things other than that, it can actually do that because it's based on Windows 11 Home. Well, does it support external GPU just in case you want an extra performance and just use it as a desktop? Well, if you are at home, yes, you can. You can use the XG Mobile, which support up to NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5090. Yeah, after all, again, a GPU is kind of a computer within a computer, but just dedicated for graphics computation. Now, of course, for this price, you can get a decent PC, but the thing is that, again, it's modular, so if you want to be on the go and you don't want a separate computer and just want a great graphics card to connect to it, once you get it home, this is something that is possible. Now, when it comes to colors, well, I'm already seeing people getting disappointed when it comes to colors. Well, the original ROG Ally, so the ROG Xbox Ally comes with white, and the ROG Xbox LAX comes in black. Whether we're going to see more colors, who knows? Maybe there will be some, some exclusive ones. We need to wait and see. Nonetheless, these are the colors that are available right now as of the announcement. I personally think they should have done, 2 colors for each one. I don't know why they don't do that, but well, that's how it is. All right, what are the key differences in terms of hardware? Well, there are quite significant differences. So first of all, again, we talk about the colors, so that's aside. The ROG Xbox Ally uses the AMD Ryzen Z2A processor, while the ROG Xbox LAX features the more powerful AMD Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme processor. In terms of RAM, the regular one comes with 16 gigabytes of LPDDR5X 6400 RAM, whether the ROG Xbox LAX steps up to 24 gigabytes of LPDDR5X 8K RAM. In terms of storage, the regular one comes with 520 gigabytes with the M2 2280 SSD storage, and the X doubles that to 1 terabyte, same type of storage. In terms of technology. In terms of battery, again, we see a difference here, significantly larger for the LAX with 80 watt-hours battery compared to 60 on the ROG Xbox Ally. In terms of ports, both have USB-C and micro SD card reader, but the ROG Xbox LAX includes a USB 4 Type-C port with Thunderbolt 4 compatibility, in addition to a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C, while the regular Ally has two USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C ports. In terms of triggers, the X features impulse triggers for more detailed haptic feedback, similar to Xbox controller, while the regular Ally has standard Hall effect analog triggers. Ergonomic and designs both have contoured grips inspired by Xbox wireless controllers, but the ROG Xbox Ally X has refined ergonomics for potentially greater comfort during long sessions. In terms of weight, the X is slightly heavier with 715 grams compared to the regular one that weighs only 670 grams. So both devices share the same 7-inch Full HD 120 IPS display with 360 Premium. In terms of release, well, holiday 2025, that's all we know so far. For those who are still kind of stuck on the optimization, just a few more words about that. And basically, the device is designed to launch directly into an Xbox-like UI, minimizing Windows background processes, and this should free up more RAM and CPU cycles for games, potentially leading to higher and more consistent frame rates compared to standard Windows desktop. Now, can it run and play a AAA game smoothly? Yes. With the more powerful version, I think we can expect for full HD good 60 FPS performance in most of the games. There are going to be, of course, exceptions for some very high demanding games where you expect maybe to see less, maybe between 30, 45. But with FSR, which is AMD's upscaling technology, which those games are supported, you might be able, of course, to get, you'll be able to get more, hopefully, to at least 60 FPS in those games. Now, what can expect from the battery life? Well, if you look at the ROG Ally X, again, that from 2024, not the Xbox One, it has 80 watt-hours battery, which doubles the previous generation from that device, provide 2.7 hours of heavy AAA gaming, or 14.5 hours of video playback on Netflix. And again, this is from the non-Xbox version. Now, personally, I don't think it's a lot, right? If you already game if you play like 2-3 hours a day, fine. It's going to give you a great experience. And some even just one, before bedtime or in flight or something like that. This will definitely be perfectly fine, right? But nothing can be more frustrating when in the middle of a great fight and in a Souls game and you just, you are about, your juice is about to run out. Nothing can be more frustrating than that. So we can get any indication from previous devices, like for the original ROG Ally, which had 40 watt-hours battery and the Z1 Extreme processor. Some benchmark mentioned Cyberpunk 2077 in turbo mode less than an hour. Grand Theft Auto 5 online in turbo mode 57 minutes. Forza Horizon 5 in performance mode 1 hour and 30 minutes. Another demanding game at max CDP at around 51 minutes. And the ROG Xbox Ally X, which has 80 watt-hours battery and the A1 Z2 Extreme processor that both significantly, again, longer battery life in demanding games, it should offer around 2 hours or maybe slightly more. The double battery capacity compared to the original Ally. So this is why we can expect, again, not confirmed, we can expect, for example, Grand Theft Auto 5 online in turbo mode for around 1 hour and 55 minutes. Demanding games at max CDP about 2 hours and 10 minutes. Cyberpunk 2077 in performance mode around 2 hours and 31 minutes. Forza Horizon 5 in performance mode 2 hours and 55 minutes. So we can expect, again, depends on the game, between 2 hours and 3 hours, sometimes less, depends of course on the game. But overall, I think in around 2 hours is kind of safe to say that something we can expect in many games. But if you're purchasing the Xbox Ally, it has higher than 40, it has 60 watt-hours battery, all right, and the Z2A processor, which is designed again for efficiency and targets a 720 gaming experience, aiming to kind of balance performance and power consumption for improved battery life. While sources don't provide specific battery life figures for this model, of course, because it hasn't been released yet, its less powerful processor and smaller battery than the Ally X suggested performance in demanding games might fall somewhere between the original Ally and the Ally X. Now, it's also important to know that the new optimized Windows 11 experience on these devices is intended to minimize background activity and defer non-essential tasks to dedicate more resources to gaming, which could potentially help improve battery life compared to the standard Windows installation. So one source mentioned that the Windows 11 overhead can significantly impact battery life compared to the optimized OS like SteamOS. But again, these are things that we're going to wait and see once the device is released. I'm quite optimistic about that, but again, don't expect like half a day type of, gaming experience with the AAA games here. But personally, I'm very excited overall. Usually, when I see these marketing and promotional materials where people just complimenting non-stop to the device, throwing like 2 or 3 superlatives every sentence, and again, like in marketing, when you try to either scare you to death or they try to, get you super overhyped and excited. And there's things usually I totally ignore. I really think they have something very special here. This is, I think, the first handheld gaming device, put Switch aside, that I'm considering buying. Very powerful device, again, optimized for full HD, which is, by the way, the resolution I mostly play on. You can play different gaming storefronts. It's built in with UI that feel like a console where you just launch it, it launches into Xbox Game Pass. With just one subscription, there are so many amazing games you can play. I just love Game Pass, so I'm super hyping myself right now. And it seems like should be optimized very well for gaming in general, and it's running Windows 11 Home at its core. With improved, I'm talking about the X, by the way, that I want, with improved ergonomics and haptic feedback. I wish the screen was OLED, but again, this is my only kind of a thing that I wish. And with all the connectivity option, this is just such an amazing device. This can even replace for some, even just a laptop computer. This is just an amazing device. If you ask me what are my worries about this is one big worry that I have, is when it comes to thermals. Now, not that I have problem with this running well and getting rid of heat and making sure the device stay cool when you're actually gaming. It's just that it might accumulate lots of dust, and when this happens over time, this means that the device is going to get hot, and it can actually cause issues, by the way. It happens maybe with laptops in the past, so it definitely can happen here. Now with phones, for example, it's not an issue because it's enclosed, but here you can see there are some exhausting holes here, so there are fans, and basically when it kind of take in air, it's going to also take the dust, and when it accumulates, it can cause heat. Now, it depends again on how much you play and the environment you're actually in, if you're in dusty environment, but even if you're not, dust is everywhere. So the question is how long it can actually be good and provide good performance without actually start getting hot. By the way, the same goes to PlayStation and many other devices. So yeah, I don't know, again, this is something that always bothers me, but usually, in real life, you're going to find that it's going to last throughout the time you're actually going to use it. It's going to get heat, of course, more than before, but probably not something that will bother us a lot during the lifetime of the device until we decide to, upgrade to a newer version of it. And honestly, I want to talk also about, again, of course, you can play cloud gaming here, Xbox Cloud Gaming, which is great, yeah, if you use it. But the thing is, I look a bit into the future, and now within the era of AI, honestly, people talk about, cloud gaming in the future, yeah, but you need that for sure. But in the future, we're going to be technologies that will generate AAA games on the fly. And I think that the company that eventually will have the system which allow users to generate their own video games. I'm talking about AAA quality games you can generate, like, something like that. I know it sounds crazy right now, but it's not. This will be very, very fast, and you'll be able to generate very high quality games with just prompting it. So just imagining like countless amount of millions of games being generated even every day. And this is going to be, basically, that's going to be the future of gaming. So yeah, it's going to be on the cloud because lots of processing power will be needed for it. So of course, Microsoft and many other companies already there in the future seeing how it's going to be like, and they want to be there when it comes to cloud gaming. I won't be surprised if Microsoft and many other big tech companies working on this game AI generative AI gaming platforms to generate games. Of course, with all the content out there, many games will be scanned one way or another to eventually create these type of platform. So yeah, cloud gaming is the future, but with AI. Anyway, I wonder how it will be like a few years from now when this scene is going to be more of a reality for us. Thanks for watching.